to From the Collection. My name is Becca, and I'm the Program and Outreach Coordinator.
And my name is Maureen, and I'm the curator.
And I'm Glen the Bat.
Glen, I would normally say I am happy to see you, but that is not the case today.
What? Why? What did I do?
You know what you did, Glen.
I thought we had an agreement. You would stay out of the galleries during the day.
Oh, we did.
Then why did I find you in the Stoddard Gallery the other day?
I wanted to see the Stoddard exhibit, the one about fishing.
We know it well, Glen.
Yeah, well, I haven't seen it yet. So I flew down, check it out. And when I flew down, it was a nighttime. And I guess I stayed too long before I knew it. The sun was coming up. And I started getting sleepy. And you shouldn't fly when you're tired. So I found a cozy corner in the gallery to hang out in. One minute I'm having a great dream about eating mosquitoes. The next I know you two are yelling at me and screaming at me and trying to catch me in a net.
Well, because you're not supposed to be in the gallery during the day, Glen.
And Glen, if you knew it was us, why didn't you go into the net? We weren't going to hurt you. We just wanted to get you out of the gallery.
Oh, because it's so much more fun watching you two chase me.
Well, next time that happens, Glen, it might not be a net that we use. We might have to call the exterminator.
Oh.
What?
You heard me.
Well, while Glen is thinking of that over, let's talk about what we'll be doing today. Now, today's episode is a mini episode, meaning we're only going to be sharing one object from our collection. But we think you're going to love it because it relates to the spookiest of holidays, Halloween.
The object that we're sharing today is a primary source. A primary source is an object used or created by someone in the past. It could be a letter, a photograph, artifact, clothing, speech, tool, or more. At the Chapman, there are primary and secondary sources stored in the archives and collection spaces. All of them help us learn more about the past.
We're going to share the time period the object comes from, what it was used for, and any other interesting facts we know about it. We'll also give you some historical context, which is like background information. You'll want to use the historical context we give you, as well as your observational skills and prior knowledge to try and guess what the object is or what it was used for. And with that, let's get started. So first, I want you to think about this question. How do you celebrate Halloween? So you might want to think about costumes people wear, traditions people take part in, decorations, food, and more. And if you'd like, write down your thoughts, and if you need more time, you can always pause the video here.
I don't know why humans love Halloween so much. It's just a normal day for us bats, but we show up on lots of Halloween decorations.
That's probably because Halloween has long been associated with nighttime, and Glen, as you just told us, that's when bats are most active. Halloween actually got its start in the country of Ireland. Living in what is now Ireland was a group of people known as the Celts. They celebrated a holiday called Samhain, which marked the end of the harvest season and the start of winter. It was celebrated around October 31st. On Samhain, the Celts believed the spirits of those who had died returned to earth for one night. To keep the spirits happy, they would leave out food and sweets outside their homes. They also built bonfires to honor their gods, and they would sit around the fire telling stories. Does any of that sound familiar, Glen?
Yeah, you humans go door to door asking for candy, kind of like spirits looking for food on a Samhain. And when flying around at night, I've seen you guys sitting on a bonfire telling ghost stories.
Exactly. Trick-or-treating and telling ghost stories around a bonfire are Halloween traditions that come from the Celts. Now, around the same time in ancient Rome, people celebrated Pomona, a holiday to honor Pomona, the goddess of gardens and fruit. Just like Samhain, Pomona was celebrated around the end of October and the 1st of November. To honor Pomona, Romans left out apples and nuts. The tradition of bobbing for apples comes from the ancient Romans. Now, eventually, Christianity, which is a religion, would come to Europe. Early Christian leaders did not want people to celebrate holidays like Samhain and Pomona. They wanted people to celebrate a holiday known as All Saints' Day, which honored important saints or important Christians. All Saints' Day was also known as All Hallows' Day, and the day before it was known as All Hallows' Evening. That would eventually get shortened and turned into the term Halloween, which is what we call the holiday today. In the 1800s, many Europeans immigrated to the United States. They brought with them customs and traditions that we now associate with Halloween. For example, people from Ireland used to carve faces into turnips to make jack-o'-lanterns. But when they came to America, they found that pumpkins were bigger and easier to carve, so the tradition was adapted. If something is adapted, it means it's been changed or altered slightly. Books are often adapted into movies or TV shows. Humans and animals adapt to the changing seasons, and sometimes holidays adapt to meet the needs of people at the time. As the United States entered the 20th century, Halloween became a holiday mostly celebrated by children, and they did many of the same activities you do today. Children in the 20th century dressed up in costumes, they carved pumpkins, they put up decorations, and they went to parades and parties. In the first half of the 20th century, decorations and costumes tended to be homemade instead of store-bought. Children might have decorated their homes with jack-o'-lanterns and crepe paper streamers, or maybe hand-drawn pictures of ghosts and goblins. And instead of going to the store and selecting a costume, children likely used what they already had. They might have looked in attics or basements for items they could have used, or if they were lucky, their mother might have sewn a costume for them. However, in the 1920s and 1930s, as companies began to see the popularity of Halloween, they began manufacturing items for the holiday that could be bought in stores. This included decorations, costume pieces, and more. Some companies published books that listed Halloween-themed games, costume ideas, recipes, and more. And with that, it is time to look at our first object. Are you ready to show it off, Maureen?
I am.
All right.
Get my gloves.
Very good.
Okay.
All right.
Here's our object.
Cool. All right. So take a good look at our object and think about what you notice. Think about the object's size, shape, color, the materials it might be made out of, and see if you can read or see if you can see anything that you might notice that's familiar on it. And if you'd like, you can pause the video and write down your observations.
Hey, there are bats on this object. That one kind of looks like Warren. Oh, and that one looks like my cousin, Ridge. And the next one looks like my sister, Maple.
Warren, Maple, Ridge, Glen, are all of your friends and family named after local streets?
Maybe. What's it to you?
Nothing, I'm just asking. What else do you notice?
This object looks like it's made out of cardboard. It's orange and has pictures of a black cat, a witch, an owl, and some bats.
Very good, Glen. You're right. This object is made from heavy paper, similar to like cardboard. And what do all of these images you listed remind you of?
Halloween.
Exactly. Now, how about these things? What do you think these are made of?
Definitely paper. Reminds me of streamers.
Right again, Glen. These are tassels that are made from very thin paper, similar to crepe paper, which is what streamers are made of. So now that you've made some observations, let's use them to try and determine what this object is. So to you at home, take a moment to think about what this object might be or what it might have been used for. And if you'd like, you can pause the video and you can write down your thoughts. All right, Glen. So what do you think that this object is?
Oh, that's an easy one. It's a Halloween hat.
Great job, Glen. And you're right. This is a cardboard band hat that was produced and sold around 1930. And that makes it about 95 years old.
Whoa, old.
So the company that made this hat was called Bystill, and they are still in business today. Bystill were founded in Pennsylvania in the year 1900 and sold party supplies and decorations. Starting in the 1920s, Bystill began producing Halloween-themed products. And this included paper decorations, hats, and other party supplies. And the items that they sold were cheap and disposable, which made them very popular. While we couldn't find an exact price, this hat probably only cost a few cents, making it affordable for just about everyone.
And that was probably a good thing because in 1930, when this hat was made, America was in the very early years of the Great Depression. Now, we've talked about this before, but remember, the Great Depression was a major economic downturn across the world and in the United States. Millions of Americans lost their jobs, and many people struggled to have enough money to cover the cost of rent, food, clothing, and more. People adapted to the Depression by making changes in their lives. They learned to use what they already had or did without if they couldn't afford it. And just like in the past, Halloween adapted to the times. In the 1930s, trick-or-treating became a popular Halloween tradition as it was relatively inexpensive and it kept children safe and out of trouble. Costume parades were free entertainment, and parties at churches, community centers, and schools could be put on for very little money. Magazines and party pamphlets shared ideas on how you could create your own haunted house using everyday items, like hairnets for spiderwebs, pretty cool, or strips of raw liver to create a creepy texture.
Ew! Raw liver! Blech.
Yeah, it's pretty gross, but it probably made for a spooky haunted house. You know, even Hollywood got involved in the Halloween fun. Horror movies like Frankenstein and Dracula came out in the 1930s, classics which people still watch today. In the 1930s, a ticket to the movies cost about 25 cents, so nearly everyone could afford to go. Musical artists performed and recorded special Halloween songs that could be listened to on the radio for free. And on the day before Halloween in 1938, a special radio broadcast of The War of the Worlds was performed live on air. The War of the Worlds is a book that was written in the 1890s by H.G. Wells. It's a science fiction story about Martians invading Earth. In 1938, an actor named Orson Welles performed a radio broadcast of the book. He presented the story through a series of breaking news bulletins. Wells did such a good job performing the role that people actually believed Martians were invading Earth.
Sounds like the ultimate Halloween trick.
Well, it wasn't meant to be a trick. It was meant to be entertaining, but some people got so scared they called the police.
Maureen, do we know who owned this hat?
Well, we know it was donated by a woman named Virginia Abbey. She was a good friend of the Chapman Museum. Virginia was born in 1931, right around this time that the hat was made. So we don't know for sure, but it's possible that Virginia wore this hat as a child growing up in the late 1930s. Maybe she wore it to a Halloween party. Maybe it was part of her costume when she went trick-or-treating.
You know, all this talk about Halloween has given me an idea. Warren and I are coming down over tonight. Maybe he and I will have a little Halloween party in the attic. We could tell spooky stories, eat some chocolate-covered mosquitoes, and wear our Halloween ties. I've got mine on right now.
And where are you having this party again, Glen?
In the attic.
Right. Well, see you later, Glen. Enjoy your party in the attic.
Yeah.
All right. And to everyone at home, that's all for today. Maureen, thank you for sharing with us some more interesting objects, or in this case, an object from our collection.
You're welcome.
And now that you have learned about this object from the Chapman Museum's collection, we want you to create a piece of artwork that incorporates the object that we discussed today. So you can draw a picture, you can write a story, you can come up with a song, a poem, or something else. And you can send your artwork to me at educator@chapmanmuseum.org along with your first name, and it just might be featured on our social media pages. So thank you for joining us today. We hope you have a very happy Halloween, and make sure to check back next month for another episode of From the Collection. Until then, have a great day, keep on learning, and make sure to visit us at the museum. We have tons of cool stuff. Bye.